Cristiano Ronaldo, Enzo Fernandez,
Kylian Mbappé,
Leo Messi,
Mikhailo Mudryk to Chelsea, Aurelien Chouameni,
Declan Rice to Arsenal,
Real Madrid. Here we go.
Whenever there is any sort of news reported in the footballing world, the only way that us fans can confirm it is if it's said by either the club or if it's said by the 30-year-old Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano. And to make the breaking news even more official, like a spell, if these words are said, then it just will happen.
Here we go.
Once those three magic words are said, the news is official, almost even more reliable than when a club themselves announce it. But how did we get here? How did the once aspiring journalist looking for any break into footballing media become the spearhead and the man that runs the whole ship? Well, that's what we are going to find out today. So be sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. The beginning. On the 21st of February 1993, Fabrizio Romano was born in Naples, Italy. Fabrizio realized his love and passion for football at a young age. Romano's love for football was nurtured by his father Luigi, who himself had a great love for the sport. But the older he got, the quicker he realized that, a lot like all of us that blame that knee injury,
you will soon injure your legs. My legs!
He wasn't quite good enough to ever make it professional in the sport that he loved.
You don't have future here. You don't have future. You can never make it.
But thankfully, Fabrizio also had a passion for journalism. So he found a way to mix his two passions into one and be a football journalist. Fabrizio began his journey into the field of journalism at the age of 16 when he started writing football stories on specialized Italian websites in his hometown of Naples, and eventually transitioned to a small website and soon discovered that this was his true calling. Romano attended university in Milan and became multilingual, being able to speak English, Spanish, and Italian. I don't know how he does it. I mean, I can barely speak English. A chance encounter with an aspiring Italian agent in Barcelona that to this day he is still unsure of how this agent got his name and contact information, but nonetheless this encounter led to a significant turning point for the young Fabrizio. This agent working at Barcelona's La Masia Academy asked Romano to write about two young talents that he wanted to represent, the Argentine striker Mauro Icardi and Spanish winger Gerard Deulofeu. Romano then wrote bios for the young players, and these bios helped the agency secure these players as their clients. Fabrizio and the agent then remained in contact afterwards. Romano then covered Icardi's transfer from Barcelona to Sampdoria in the summer of 2011, but the significance of this 18-year-old youth team player's move to a second division club in Italy wasn't very hyped, as you can imagine. But the agency contacted Fabrizio again just 2 years later in November 2013, and this time it was quite important. The agent told Fabrizio that Fabrizio had helped him at the beginning of his career, and now it's time that the agent hopes Fabrizio in return. He told Romano that Icardi had agreed to a move to Inter Milan for the following summer. Romano revealed the news on an Inter Milan fan website 6 months before it was formally announced, and Fabrizio said this is when everything changed. The young journalist then gave up freelance writing in order to land a position at Sky Sport Italia. At the time, Sky Sport Italia's star correspondent Gianluca Di Marzio was a nightly show host and a transfer reporter. He had already established this genre of football journalism by the time that Romano joined Sky Sports Italia. Di Marzio designed a personal website with the aid of Fabrizio, and through this Romano gained knowledge of the finer features of his line of work, mainly the idea of traditional journalism and the value of subtle clues in order to excite the audience. For years, Fabrizio walked around Milan every day, restaurants, inns, anywhere footballers meet up, just to maybe catch any sort of inside scoop. More and more fans became interested in what Fabrizio had to say because he was trustworthy and barely ever wrong. So he started covering more transfers around England, France, Spain, and Germany. But as time went on, Fabrizio saw the environment of football journalism shifting. Social media was growing rapidly and less people were listening to traditional media. Here we go. In 2020, the Portuguese midfielder Bruno Fernandes had been linked to Manchester United, and as you can imagine, this story was huge. After 1 month of updates about the transfer, Fabrizio wrote those famous words,
Here we Go.
He wrote it as if to say that everything had been completed on the deal. But from that day on, followers on Twitter started asking Fabrizio for "here he goes" for every big deal. And from then, Fabrizio liked the idea of using that to confirm transfers, and he then stuck with it. This phrase is now Romano's signature line. Clubs now seek out the journalist to appear in their transfer confirmation content and to use his catchphrase. Fabrizio's work ethic is partly responsible for his rise to success. In the past 3 years, he has racked up millions of followers on all social media platforms. When not writing for The Guardian or Sky Sports, Romano shares his articles on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and he streams on Twitch. He claimed that he stays up till 5 in the morning and wakes up at 9 AM during the transfer window, and during deadline day he doesn't get any sleep whatsoever. Wow, Fabrizio, way to make the rest of us normal people feel good about ourselves.
I'll go to bed at 6 a.m. and I'll wake up 1 minute before that at 5:59, minus 1 minute sleep. That's what I do.
How Fabrizio changed the game. In the beginning, Fabrizio, like other journalists, had always struggled with obtaining information. But Fabrizio always has a different way of working, which makes him, for the most part, more trusted than any other journalist in determining player transfer issues. But through Fabrizio's success, he has built plenty of strong relationships with agents all over the world, sporting directors, and with players themselves. Fabrizio applies a kind of slow journalism concept to his reporting. Fabrizio will not speak about a transfer unless he has confirmed 100% the news is correct. As long as it is not certain, Fabrizio will keep quiet. Fabrizio makes at least 50 phone calls per day hunting for transfer information. Fabrizio always often goes around hotels and club headquarters to meet with players and sporting directors. Fabrizio has so much power that clubs use him in player transfer announcing videos. You must remember that signing a player gives the team a chance to get publicity, stir up discussion on social media, and perhaps even win over a few new supporters. So it also benefits the club and players to give Fabrizio the inside scoop. This just shows the power of Fabrizio Romano's influence on the football landscape. European clubs typically like to keep reporters at a distance. They keep their transfer market targets under tight wraps out of concern that a false leak could derail a deal that has been in the works for months. But with Fabrizio, it's different. You see, through the relationships that he's built, he is able to be correct 99% of the time, as well as bring light to any situation that is happening. The market of player transfers worldwide is huge. Deals are delicate, and false news could break a deal that a club has been working on for weeks, if not months. The power that Fabrizio holds over football is far greater than some of us may think. He is not just a reporter that has some things to say about football. He is a man with strong connections, and he can be used sometimes as a voice for players, agents, or even clubs. And that concludes the video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.